Hello, everybody. Welcome to our author story time this evening. I'm so excited for us to be able to come together, not only just to be able to learn more about this amazing book, but also to hear it read live. So as you're coming in, say hello. It already popped up. We got a whole crew coming in. This is 11 folks. So wave at your people. Let us know you're here.
Right.
I'm going to share how this author story time will go if it's your first time ever joining us. I am Jarima Gorham, the founder and executive director of First Into Books. And the reason we do these author story times is because I really believe that it is one important that we learn about amazing stories to add to our home libraries. And secondly, we get to learn about the process. So some people come to support and listen as a family. Others are also aspiring authors or publishers, writers, illustrators, and just want to hear someone else's journey. And so, what appropriate way for us to do that then not only get to talk to the authors, but also to hear their stories too. It's also super important because, as we know, we are in Black History Month. And so, in Black History Month, I also think it's important that we have a diversity of topics that we discuss. And so, when I first was talking with Tikia, we talked about why this would be so important during Black History Month, and I'm sure we'll hint to that this evening. So, as we are getting ready to get started, I'm just going to show some of the people saying hello. So, Jay Boogie says, up, fam. We got
Uncle Jay.
Kelly Kidd.
That's
And
Auntie.
so, as you all can see, as you make comments and as you have questions that you may want me to ask, if you put them in the chat, we'll be sure to bring them up throughout. But we're gonna go ahead and jump right in. And what I love to do before we do any type of interview is allow my guests to introduce themselves. So, who would like to go first, Julian or Takia?
Sure. Okay, say that. My name is Julian. I am 10 years old, and yeah, that's it.
No worries.
And I'm Tikia Kidd, the mom of Julian, and I have a daughter named Corinne. And we are so elated to be with you on tonight.
I love it, love it. So we're gonna jump right in, and both questions, like I said, for both of you, as we pose the questions, feel free to answer them both, or if you want to hand it off one to the other. But our very first question, as we're talking about reading and books, I want to know, like, how has reading played a role in your life?
Wow. Reading has played a major role in my life. Um, I loved reading. Oh, I've come to love reading as an adult. When I was younger, books weren't that available unless you went to the library. So I've come to love reading just as an educator, reading to books to my classrooms, all my different classes. And then when I had children, we have books in like every single room in the house from the time from utero up until now. They have books everywhere. So it's a major role in our lives. What about you?
I like graphic novels
Ooh, please tell me more. Why do you love graphic novels?
because there's pictures.
And then, well, let me ask you this. So, even though it's pictures, because my son loves graphic novels too,
Mhm.
what about the pictures allow you to better understand stories?
They just make me understand it because it's like, oh, the person's doing this and the person's doing that, and it's just really good to know that.
Yeah, I think, and I love that he said that because a lot of times, and if you're a parent watching, when we're trying to get our kids to read, I'm always just a big supporter of whatever they feel inclined to read, allow them to read it because it's going to build up natural curiosity, right? And so sometimes we can feel like, oh, they're reading these comics, they're reading graphic novels, like it's not a book. Like I need them to have a book that's chapters and all of that. However, it's going to lead them to want to question and want to be interested in other things, and you never know like how that's going to spawn them to do other things. So reading is reading, right?
Yeah.
Reading is reading. Reading is illustrating, right? Because stories tell us pictures. Stories are in pictures, right? And then also, as he just said, it makes them better understand what the people are doing. But I think this leads us to your particular book, right? And I wanted to talk about this first question as to what inspired you to write this book.
Well, my inspiration, of course, came from my son. He is the first person in our family to have albinism. And what inspired me was that when I was looking for books to put in our classroom, into our home library that represented him, I could not find not one. The books that were given to us through our organization called NOAA were books for parents on how to raise a child, but there were no books with, bright illustrations and people that looked like him. And so I was just like, wow, I should just write a book using our pictures. And so
Mm-hmm.
that was the inspiration behind it. And then this journey has been going on for my book journey has been about 7 years in the making. I started when he was like 3, and it's come to where it is now. But throughout the journey, I've changed. Like at first, I just wanted a book for him. Then I was like, oh, I need a book to share with his classmates and to share with the school because no one was really talking about albinism and no one even kind of knew. I met a lot of people that were like, what? What is it? And then when you use the term albino, which some people who have albinism are okay with albino, some people are not. So we use the term that describes the condition versus the person. So when I
Mm-hmm.
would say albino, people would say, "Oh yeah, I remember I went to school with an albino," but that's kind of like derogatory because someone who has diabetes, you wouldn't say, "Look at that diabetic." So it's kind of goes into that place. So you would just say, "Oh, he has albinism," or a person with albinism. So that was my inspiration, is just to educate all who would come in contact with him, with us, and then now just globally because my friend Brandy Green, she just wrote a book as well on albinism, and she herself has albinism, African American woman, and she wrote a book that includes the boy and a girl who has albinism. Cute story. So I just want to give her a little plug. But there are books that are starting to come out, and that's the mission right now. And what was my inspiration was him.
Love it. So, Julian, as you are the inspiration for this story, right? For this book, I would just love because what I also love about this conversation is that it's needed conversations in our community, right? the
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
the African diaspora is so vast. I mean, we come in so many shades, so many sizes, so many heights, all of our interests, right? Not everyone loves the same things or dislikes the same things. And so it's important that we give platforms for everyone to be celebrated, right? And for everyone to share and have a voice. And so, Julian, I would love for you to just kind of share with you being like the star, right? Because you're really here. You're really here making us look good. I just want you to know that, right? We everyone's really here to hear you talk. So I want to know, like, how has it been, like, in school or with friends, with them, like, learning about you? Have you like, well, how important do you think this story was to be like included at schools and with other people?
I was like, oh, it's just another story.
Why do you feel like it was not just another story?
Because it I well, it was just because
You need the question repeated.
no.
No. Okay, she's asking you why this book, like how has albinism affected you, or in school, how do you deal with albinism when you were in school?
I just walk on by. I don't Nobody really says anything bad about me. And if they did, I wouldn't really care cuz I don't really care what people think cuz I'm like, whatever.
Well, you want to know what that says to me, Julian, is that one, your parents have done an amazing job of allowing you to understand like who you are and what that matters in relations to others. Because I don't think even when it comes to like albinism, because it's kids who they go to school and they really do care what people think, right? Like it really, I mean, the opposite is true. Like we have colorism within our in our community when it comes to light skin, dark, straight hair, curly hair. And so I think what I love about in just in the work that I do, the books that I see coming out and why I love your book so much and why I wanted to do this is because it makes it more of a normal conversation when kids see themselves in books. Right? So a lot of times girls didn't think themselves as being pretty because they didn't see a dark skinned, curly, real fro on the front cover of a children's book. Like that may not seem like a big thing, but it's a huge thing when when we're trying to empower our youth about what beauty is and what your natural beauty is and beauty comes in all different shades. And so for you to say like I felt empowered, like I just didn't really care what they think, I think there's one part of that which just shares a lot about your family and how they've empowered you. But I think to what your mom is saying, it also gives those teachers and students understanding and knowledge that they don't have, right? Because a lot of times we say things and do things because of ignorance and lack of knowledge, and we don't necessarily know how to interact or what to say. And so maybe they didn't say anything to you, but I'm sure there may have been times where others may have felt like, is this appropriate? Like I didn't know when you said that about the term albino, like, but I'm like, that makes perfect sense, right? Like it makes perfect sense. But if that's not my reality or not something I deal with, then I wouldn't even give that a second thought, right? And so that is why this conversation is so important. And so we were joking before you all before they came on, because I said, "How do you feel about being on the front cover of a book?" And Julia said, "It used to be paper stapled together, so now it's a book, So we're talking about this role of publication. It didn't start as a book, so I would love for you to kind of share like what helped it to become an actual book that you're holding in your hand."
Right. So before we got to this, we literally had these pages printed up on regular copier paper. I stapled them on the side to make my book, and I would read it to him and read it to his class. And it started when he was in three year like the 3-year-old preschool classroom, and that was my first time reading it. And the kids loved it. They really gravitated and saw similarities and differences and just getting them engaged. And so I asked him, I was like, do you want me to read this every year to just break the ice? Because like you said, there's not a lot of talk around albinism. And it could just be because there is a lack of knowledge, but there's also, there may be not a lot of resources out there. And then sometimes I find that it's kind of like the elephant in the room in certain communities that we're in. So I'm just that voice, and I'm that person to say, hey, let's talk about this and what it is. It's nothing wrong, but let's educate ourselves. So like I said, the book was just stapled paper. And once he got to, I want to say kindergarten, I started thinking about like, I should publish this book. And then I asked him, I said, well, do you want me to keep reading it? And I read it up until second grade. And of course, pandemic hit when he was in second grade. I read it to his class, and his teachers were so accepting and just like very open to me coming to read, because they themselves had no idea about albinism. And with albinism, there comes a low vision challenge where a lot of things that, like his eyes have nystagmus, you can see his eyes moving, things that he sees far, he can't see far away. And teachers need to know that. And I had to make sure that my baby was in the best hands with educated and informed educators that would say, okay, he may not be able to see that. Or I remember what mom said. So I would go in and kind of do this quick tutorial with the class, give them semantics around albinism, just the term albinism, nystagmus, why you're going to see him in a hat, why he has to wear his sunblock, and why he may need to get a little close to you to see certain details. And the children love that. But what they loved most was that they got to see there's a normalcy around albinism. Yes, at first glance, he may look different, but wow, he takes gymnastics. He's on track team. He's a boy.
I don't
He's
take
10.
gymnastics.
Well, you did when you were 2. um, but he likes to read. He likes to play. He loves to laugh. He's like our little comedian. So, and very social. So they got a chance to see that, wow, he's no different than I am, or So that, and so my road to the publication was that, just to get it publicized, and now to put it in, my push right now is to put it in every environment that serves children,
Hmm.
um, hospitals, libraries, wherever books can be shelved, at home, wherever, to kind of get the information out there and normalize it.
I love it. And what I love what you said, and even some of the comments I'm gonna show as we're getting there, they're like, thank you for educating me. Like, thank you for putting that out here, because I believe that so many times we don't give ourselves enough credit. But what I
Mhm.
mean by that is that, it's, as mothers, like you said, I want to make sure that my child is in the best educational setting. So I'm gonna empower these teachers to know how
Yeah.
to best serve him and to educate him. And I'm also gonna empower the students. I think
Hmm.
sometimes when parents don't advocate or not necessarily know the words on how to do that, it's because it's an assumption like, oh, they're not really gonna care about how to best serve my child. And I think when we have these conversations, it allows, like you said, it allows everyone to just kind of take, a seat back. And as you said, the kids like, wow, that makes a
Hmm.
lot of sense. You know what I mean? Like it's like it just makes it normal. Even for teachers, like, okay, okay,
Yeah.
I know my parameters. I know what I should do.
Mhm.
I know what I shouldn't do. Just like with any other child, this is just
Mhm.
another situation. Um,
Exactly. And I
I had
always
a
made it
mother
clear.
on. I had a mother on who wrote a book about her daughter who was nonverbal, who was autistic,
Mhm.
and she did it
Mhm.
was for that same purpose, that she wanted kids and teachers to understand that when she's a little standoffish, this is just like a common thing, right? Like she doesn't necessarily like loud sounds and things like that. So then the environment was able to be sensitive to that, but then also the kids were able to be like, oh, okay, I want to play with her. Oh, make sure you're careful, because kids
Yeah.
want to play, they want to have friends, but if you give them the parameters, they'll play
Mhm.
around it. So I just love the fact that this is really just about us educating each other so we can love each other better.
Exactly. Yes. And one other thing I also did was, once I spoke with the students, I would also send home a letter that was written from him to his friends and families, just
I wrote
introducing
it.
himself. Well, it was in his voice, my words, of course. But, it was just like, hi, I'm Julian. I'm a student, a new classmate in your child's class. I have, just telling them about albinism and what it is. And then I would tell them, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. I'm fine with that when we're in the line picking them up if you have more questions, because kids go home and they talk.
Yeah.
And sometimes at the dinner table, or when you're out and kids are asking you these questions, you may not have the answers to them. So I try to give them like those buzzwords in the letters, just in case the kids will come home and ask questions like, well, I don't understand, why is Julian this? Or so they would have it right there as a parent, because the homeschool connection can get lost sometimes. But I just would ask the teachers and empower them, like, hey, send this home. So when they do see him on a field trip or out in the community, they're aware or they're educated. And a lot of parents were very receptive and would say, thank you for sending that letter home. And I didn't know. It was just, a mother's love, should I say, and just trying to get that push out there. So,
Well, it's the part that I have been most excited about, which is the live reading. So, Life with Jack is the name of the book, Living with Albinism. And we're actually going to have an opportunity to hear not only from Tikia, but also Julian and reading their book. And so, we're going to share some slides. And then, as they are sharing their slides, if you have any additional like comments or questions that you would like to have asked throughout this time, please feel free to put in here. I just want you all to know you're getting so much love in this chat.
Thank
And so
you,
we're all
Emily.
excited. Yeah. So once you we're gonna do the live reading, so we're able to hear like pieces from the story and from the book, and then also at the bottom of the screen, our organization Burst into Books has a online bookstore, and so we are gonna at the end share all of the different places where you can purchase the book. But we also have put the book in our online bookstore, so we will put at the bottom of the screen while they're reading where you can go to access that. And then if you have not already added this to your home library, we strongly encourage you to do that. Okay. So again, at the bottom of the screen, you will see the link where you should go and purchase. And again, at the end, we'll kind of share where you can purchase it as well. And so let's get ready for our live reading.
All right.
Oh, I see it's coming up.
Oh, you can't see it?
Yeah, I got you. Yep. So as soon as you
Okay.
make it full screen,
All right.
it will be good.
All right. So you good on that side?
Yeah, we got it.
All right. Okay. Life with Jack. Living with Albinism. Inspired by Julian Eric Kidd Jr., written by Tikia Kidd. That's it.
Person with albinism, PWA. Hi, my name is Julian Eric Kidd Jr., aka Jack, because of my initials. I am 10 years old and I have albinism. And I have a skin condition called albinism. This is me when I was younger,
He's so cute.
3 years old. Albinism is a genetic condition that affects the color of my skin, hair, and my eyes. It also makes seeing far away a challenge, but I manage.
How did I get this condition? Both of my parents carried the albinism gene, and that's the only way I could have been born with albinism. The albinism gene is sort of like the Clark Kent of genes.
Oh,
Here's
just
our family picture.
just to be sure.
How and why?
Oh.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Just to be sure, I look kind of creepy on that page.
No, you didn't. You look awesome.
I have like red eyes.
He's talking about the red eye from
Wow.
the king.
I'm like,
How and why I protect my skin. My cool sunglasses. My super cool sunglasses protect my eyes from bright lights, especially the sun. People with albinism do not have color on their iris to help block the sunshine. I wear sunglasses to protect my eyes from sunlight, and some indoor places may be bright too. People without albinism have built in sunglasses. That's the color on their iris to help block the sunshine. My hats. I wear hats outdoors to protect my eyes, head, and neck from the sun's rays. Bucket hats used to be my favorite.
I like baseball caps now.
Yeah, he elevated us.
Yes. My sunblock. I use sunblock on my skin every day. It helps protect my skin from the sun's ultraviolet rays. Are you protecting your skin? My eyes. I can see. My eyes appear to be blue or gray. I have nystagmus, which makes my eyes move from side to side. I hold things close to see better. You have HD vision, and mine is low vision, kind of like your TV. I also have a null point. I tilt my head to focus on one thing.
My super sister. Every hero has a team up. Mine is my 11-year-old sister, Corinne. She is my best friend, and I love her to pieces. Corinne does not have albinism, but she is extra special too. This is us reading a book. This is us petting our uncle's dog, Leo. And this is us playing, and we're at Disney World.
Sharing ice cream.
And she's sharing ice cream with me.
How school works for me. I have a vision itinerant or a special teacher who makes seeing my schoolwork much easier. She trains me on how to use my super cool tools that are on the next page. My super tools. I have a magnifier, a super CCTV, a monocular, and a dome magnifier to see all my work better. NOAA. My family and I belong to an organization called NOAA. It offers a lot of resources for me and my family. It also it is also a way for me to connect with other super PWAs. And the acronym is National Organization for Albinism and Hypopigmentation. For more information on albinism, visit www.albinism.org. Noah was instrumental in helping me get casted for a video shoot. Here are some photos with my team up for Castlecomer's video titled All of the Noise. Did you enjoy the video, making the video?
Yeah, but they took it down.
Here are friends I met through Noah who dare to be different, successful, and a trailblazer for superheroes like me. Dante Mickens, financial analyst, Paralympian for goalball, and board chair for NOAA. Tori Alford, technical lead for Black Sky, which is a geospatial service that takes satellite photos of Earth. Board chair for NOAA, the first person with albinism to bicycle across the United States, from Yorktown, Virginia to San Francisco, California. An avid rock climber, cyclist, skier, hiker, all around outdoor enthusiast.
Mike McGowan, Executive Director of NOAA. Charlie and Joshi, my first friends with albinism. I love me. Overall, I'm an average 10-year-old boy living with albinism who may look different. I still have fun. Learn, laugh, and love, just like you. See, it's okay to be different because in some ways we're all the same. Here are a few of my favorite things I like to do. Find one that you like to do.
Oh, is that trampolines? Okay.
Yeah, Sky Zone.
Sky
Oh,
Zone,
yeah.
the bowl-a-thon, climbing a tree, taekwondo, just riding in the car with his sibling, with Corinne, and reading. You can see him reading at the top page, top bar.
And science.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for taking this life journey of superhero Jack and his super tools. Stay tuned for the adventures of, and those are some resources found in the book that we cited on our last page.
Wow. Can we just give them a hand clap? Oh my gosh. This was awesome.
Thank
Let's show you some of the comments. People say, I'm so inspired.
you, Kia.
Jack is truly inspirational.
Thank you, Uncle Jay.
All right, we got the bowl-a-thon. When is this bowl-a-thon? What is? I love
Oh, March. We're gonna do something in June. We're gonna have either a bowl-a-thon or a
NOAA conference.
another silent auction, and that's to raise funds. But if we can come together, we would love to come together. We usually have about close to 100 people that come out for this event. So if it's safe for us to, get together, we definitely will. So it's that's what they're talking about. The bowl-a-thon is hosted by NOAA and worldwide throughout the United States. People host bowl-a-thons and other things, like skating parties, going to different venues, golf, whatever you want. So I see people saying, I'll be there. Yes.
Yeah.
Let us know. Yes, I missed the bowl-a-thon too, Kelly.
Yeah, I miss their soft pretzels.
He's all about the food, as she told you, Dream.
I know, I'm about to say, the food is coming back. The food is coming back. But
My
what I
favorite.
want to say, as you see people saying like "awesome job," giving you all hand claps,
Thank you,
I
guys.
love just how it really is just showing just the beauty of your family, and just like you said, like allowing kids to be able to see so many things that they love to do the same, right? And
Yes.
educating at the same time. And so I love it. I truly, truly, truly am grateful that you all were able to come on, and
Thank you.
I'm going to make it a part of how I could be able to make it a part of our org as we're like getting books in the community and giving it to schools, the schools we work with. I truly do believe it should be a part of their libraries as well. And so
Thank
I want to show
you.
y'all a few more comments. So we got a couple of more questions. They said always about the food.
Yes, yes,
It's always
yes.
about
His
the food.
aunt knows him well. Oh,
They said when can I get that
yes.
mixtape, Jack? You got a mixtape?
Your uncle is asking about a mixtape. We'll get it to you soon, Jay.
Right,
Soon.
right, right, right.
Bye, Auntie
Awesome.
Regina. Thanks. Oh,
Yay.
thank you.
Everybody,
Thank you, everyone, for joining in with us tonight. We truly appreciate and feel the love. And Jarima, what a great opportunity. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for having us on.
of
And I'm
course, of course.
here for the partnership.
Yeah, a couple more questions. So, aspiring writers. So, I think you shared kind of a little bit in the beginning the process of from this idea why you felt it was important, how it started as like the staple book, right? And then we get to where it's a published book. What would you say, for those that are on here who are maybe inspired because they have a story that they need to tell, right? Or they don't see enough of a certain conversation being said and put out there into our community. And so, what would be your advice for any aspiring writers who may be watching?
Wow. So I think I'm going to go with our growth mindset, which is effort and perseverance are the keys to success, which means put forth your effort and persevere. Like I said, I have been working on this book for almost 7 years, and I purposely left the ages of Julian in the book so that aspiring writers could see that it takes time and your ideas change, but just keep going with it. And whatever you put your mind to, it will turn out beautiful as long as you keep, the effort behind it. And I never thought I would be a writer. Like, I love reading books to children. I can act them out, I'm real animated, but I never thought that I would be the person writing and publishing a book. When I got the book in the mail, I teared up because I was like, oh my word, like you just really wrote a book. And to those that are aspiring writers, if I can do it, I know you can do it.
Wait, you were crying?
Not like bawling, but I was teary. You know how I get teary. Yeah. He's like, wait, you cried? Such a 10-year-old.
I love it. And Tiffany, you hitting it right on the money. So my next question was, what's next? Okay. And I just want you to see this comment because Tiffany said, look, just leaves room for Life with Jack Part 2 and 3.
Yes.
So is that something you've been thinking about? I actually was thinking that, especially with, he was like, that's when I was 3 years old. That was I was 4. But he's 10 now. And I think it's important to show even like the development, right, of what are maybe new challenges or new opportunities or new things that he's into. So have you thought about, a series maybe?
Absolutely. That's cousin Tiffany. Hi, Tiffany.
Yeah, really left off as a cliffhanger.
Yeah, the end of the book is like this cliffhanger. So
it says stay tuned.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
so yeah, stay tuned. To be fully transparent, my husband is a huge superhero fan. So it was kind of like his idea to do maybe a graphic novel about Julian as he's growing. And this will be something I want to pull him in on since he loves graphic novels. Exactly. And we can continue to like just journal and talk about his life. As the next time we may publish may not be until a few years from now because I want to have some content to kind of go with it. But I can also pick up from where we left off when he was about 7 And so yeah, there's a part 2, there's a part 3, there's definitely going to be more books about
Part
Julian
4.
Eric Kidd. And who knows, maybe I'm inspiring him to become a writer, and once he becomes old enough to like really write and publish completely on his own, maybe he'll have books about albinism as an adult.
I'm gonna be a video game.
Or make video games, because that's where we are in our life right now, and that's okay. You said maybe a video game.
Another cool suggestion. So look, we getting y'all a whole series. We about to have a movie, a graphic novel. Kelly said, I know it could be a book that includes how his sister is an advocate for him.
Yes.
Just a lot of ways, just being able to show. I think that that's really cool too, because showing his story, but also showing how his village is really around him and their relationship. Because I think a lot of times when we are talking about the topic is albinism, but how does it impact you all as parents, right? Absolutely. I think it'll be really cool to write a book for parents. Or how does it impact if you are a sibling? Mm-hmm. Right, because I'm sure that there's conversations she may have heard from other classmates or students.
We were just talking about that, and she, my daughter Corinne, she's his advocate when they're out in the world by themselves at the playground or wherever, and she'll speak up for him. She always has. I always tell this endearing story about they were about 3 and 4, and they were on the playground. Long story short, he was the last person to come over to the group where she had already kind of assimilated. And it was just a bunch of girls, and they were like talking on the side. So he comes up and he's kind of toddling along because they're 4. So he's like 3. So, they think he's young. So they kind of looked at him and they were like, and she was like, that's my brother and he can come and play. Like don't think about trying to tell him he can't.
And y'all were wondering what was going to happen.
That's what she said.
Yes. Wow. Yes. So we do.
I love it.
We include her as well because it's impactful to the family. But we educate ourselves, and our village. I would be remiss to not say that our village does not come through for us. They do, and like I said, he hasn't experienced. Just true hate. He's been going through the normal adversities that 7, 8, 9-year-old kids go through. So he hasn't really experienced the hate because our racism is so strong, and racism and things like that. We talk about all of these things, but he hasn't really experienced it. But like I said, our village is so tight. Even where we live in our community, and our community is our village, but then our families are just so supportive, and our friends are so supportive. So, yes. I'm sorry. He gave us a solid 30 minutes.
It's all right. Who you calling over? Who coming over?
He's trying to call his sister over.
Come on, friend. We done talked about you enough, girl. We gotta see what you
He's so shy. He's like the extrovert, and she's the introvert. Just brush your hair and just come on over. Okay, just say hi real quick. They want the people.
Just say hi. We waited. We not gonna move on. Hey.
They've seen you in the book already.
But what I love, and I think he hit it right on the money, is that when we were first talking about this, why was it important to have this in Black History Month, is because within our community we can have this idea of what is race, right, and what is Black and what is not, and skin color and all of that. And so I know that he said he has not experienced it. I'm sure we all have our own stories of different incidents that we have. But I think what we're doing right now and what you all are doing is educating us enough that when, not if, when some things might happen, people are more informed, and that his village is even more informed in a way to really stand up, right? And him as well. So I love it. I love it. So in closing, I wanted to say a couple of things, and we're going to end with, I already spoke about how they can get it on our website, but if there's anything you would want, those who are watching to know. So At the bottom of the screen is our website for Burst into Books. If you have not already, I would strongly encourage you to go join our mailing list. We even have some Black History events that are going on this year, this month, virtually. Our first one is tomorrow. And so if you go on there, you can see under Black History events all the things we have planned, and you'll be able to be in tune with all the things and programs that we do here in Chicago, but also virtually throughout the world. I'm so excited that we've had this moment with Tikia and Julian.
Yes,
I
thank
look forward
you.
to us getting together. We've already talked about some ways we're going to connect
Yeah,
in person.
that's
But I would
cool.
love for you to share, where else can people find your book? And last thing, when you go to burstintobooks.org, you'll see a tab at the top that says bookstore. You can go in, find their book, and purchase it that way. But if there's anything else you would like to share as we are closing out, Tikia?
Yes, the book can also be found on Amazon. You can buy it paperback or on your Kindle. It's in Barnes and Noble. You can buy it for your Nook or paperback, online only. And then it's in Walmart, guys. I'm super excited. I found out 2 days ago that it's in Walmart, online only. And then I found out yesterday it's on Books a Million. I don't know if but it's Books a Million. You can find it there as well. And you can follow me on Instagram at Living with Albinism. I'm on Twitter under Tikia and Tikia Kidd, and Facebook. Well, no, not really Facebook. I'm sorry. But yeah, those are all the places you can find me.
Well, awesome. I'm so excited for the future of this book series and just continue to spread the word.
Yeah.
Julian, thank you, sir. You did an amazing,
Yeah.
amazing job reading, and thank you for, really inspiring us. And thank you for everyone who's been watching tonight, right? I hope that this was a great addition to your Friday night. We look
Yes.
forward to seeing you next time. And happy Black History Month. Happy Black History Year. We're
Thank
going to
you.
be educating all year, but I'm excited that we were able to kick off our Black History program with you and Julian.
All
So
right. Thank you.
thank you all. Take care. See you next
You
time.
too.
Take
You
care.
too. Bye bye.
Bye.